1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Lex talk about it, talk about it, talk about it, talk about it.
Woo! Yes, sir.
Oh, baby.
One day.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So 51.
Episode
51,
51, baby.
51. They're alive. 51, we're having fun.
51 and spooky.
Boo.
Oh, geez, dude, come on, man.
Was it my face?
No, so handsome.
Yeah, guys. This is going to be a good one.
I agree.
This is our spooky season episode. Yeah.
It is a spooky season.
Yeah, and in this episode, we'll be talking everything Halloween
Yes.
and the history of Halloween.
Starting with Salem. Grizzly?
What, the Dia de los Muertos?
There you go.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah. So the Day of the Dead, it originated back in Mexico.
What are we talking about, Frankie?
On a serious note, so today we're going to be talking about the differences between old school business and new school business.
Oh, it's us.
Yeah, obviously, throughout the dawn of time of business, a lot of things have changed, implementing different technologies, ways of selling, ways of marketing, ways of communicating. So we're really here to break down, what the major differences, are modern day, the advantages, the disadvantages, and basically just the difference.
Yeah.
But without further ado.
Ooh.
My name is Thomas McCauley, your head of business development. To my left, I have
Frank Grizzly Luando, the COO.
Frankie D, CEO.
Appio Fragoletti, Director of Banking Relations. And to my left, Louis, our CHO.
and now. Introducing the #1 new school sales team in the world, Lexington!
Yes, sir.
Look at the way they're dressed.
We have sound effects for the new school.
You don't do business like that.
Where's their suits? They didn't go to Deloitte.
You gotta do the tie when you say it.
Oh, you're not in a suit? Sorry, sir. Not
Grizzly
doing
actually had
business
an internship at Deloitte.
They do?
No, he sold free phones. That was his internship. When Deloitte saw that resume, they're like,
with. All right, guy.
you gotta go, guy.
You're not an analyst.
Tell high, selling free phones. Something's up with this guy. I don't know if we can trust him.
They give me the call. Who said you could apply here?
Look at them now.
Such of a waste of processing this application.
I paid someone $16 an hour to say no to you. That's old school business right there.
Let's dive into the topic of discussion today, guys. So old school business versus new school business. So many differences, and at the same time, a lot of similarities.
Yep.
That go into it. So Tom, give me what you think is the biggest difference, modern day in business, than the beginning of time, business, or even like the 70s, 80s, 90s.
I mean, there's honestly so much, from just the verbiage that people use, and I would honestly go with just the explosion of social media.
Yeah.
Facebook kicked off, that changed everything.
Oh, 100%.
Everything. You're not putting your advertisements in newspapers anymore, in the back of buses in the city. They still do, but it's not as effective.
Yep.
You're not door-to-door knocking as much, depending on the industry that you're in. There's a lot of different ways to reach tons of people in a very, very effective and precise manner that could not have existed in that time.
Yeah, that's also pretty cost effective too. Running ads on Facebook is pretty cost effective. It's not the most expensive thing in the world. With the time, effort, people you have to pay salaries in order to have, people post all those, posters on all these buses and all these side streets and stuff like that. You might end up paying the same thing when you break down, your customer acquisition costs with running some paid advertisements on Facebook, especially as a service-based business. So I agree. Social media, there's only a few different ways to capture leads, modern day. Imagine back then, and social media and content creation and lead generation through paid advertisements is really one of the biggest ways nowadays, to acquire customers.
Most definitely.
So, yeah.
Another big thing that I really wanted to touch on too is population. Simply just the explosion of population in these countries. Our country alone is massive.
Yeah.
Way more people to reach, way more people who are available to purchase your product as well.
Yeah, more consumers.
Yeah, there's definitely a big difference in between the two.
Definitely.
I think in mine, I'm not rephrasing your question correctly, but I think my favorite thing about the old school to new school transition is that even from the dawn of time, business is still around sales. You know, I know I fought once marketing, but if whether you're in the Greek era, freaking selling clay pots, or you're in our day and age and you're having an e-commerce website, whatever you're doing, you're still selling. At the end of the day, there's customers, there's you, and there's acquisition. Let's see what we can do about it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
There is a new school way to selling, though.
Most definitely.
Back in the day, it was a lot of smiling and dialing, banging the phones really hard.
door
knocking, and I think that the way of selling was a lot different compared to modern day where it's more consultative. And I think the reason being is because, I mean, we teach our guys is that there's a bad connotation about sales men and women because a lot of people have seen like the movies from the 80s and the 90s of how people used to sell. So we basically have to reverse engineer the customer or the merchant's mind about how they actually feel about a sales representative at that company. So we try to mirror the exact opposite of what you actually see in the movies, and we take a more consultative and caring approach to the client and to their business and to their needs. I think that's a huge difference in the selling aspect. On top of it, there's a lot more technologies built into being able to sell. So back in the day, you could only pick up a cell phone. Well, not a cell phone. You could only pick up a phone and single dial clients. Nowadays, you could do that, but more effective. You could call multiple people at once on a dialer. You could email clients, you could text clients, and then you could also hit them up on social media.
One thing too, I know it's minute, but you also have 2 monitors nowadays.
You do have more effective computers,
more effective technology,
more RAM,
more. We need more RAM,
more gigabytes.
Dedicated RAM.
Lenovo's only stepped up their game.
That's it. They really have, from the space station to beyond.
Yes, sir.
To beyond.
Yes,
To beyond. We do love them. What's your favorite thing about what we got going on here?
I mean, my favorite thing is more of a similarity than a difference from old school to new school. Is still word of mouth. Except, when you talk about old school salesmen, and even, it's sad to say, a lot of new school salesmen, there's not a lot of people out there that can successfully get business by word of mouth.
Yeah.
Because there's, for lack of a better term, so many shysters out there.
Yeah.
Old school and new school. I'd say there's the same amount, if not even more shysters in new school nowadays. Everybody's just short, money hungry. They're not thinking the big term picture, which is why I love that if you are a reputable company and you do have your customers' business first, that you might make money a little bit slower, but in the longevity of things, you're going to topple over every other business that's out there because you're getting that you're doing right by your clients, that you're still getting that word of mouth. So I still love that. My favorite way of advertising or getting sales is by word of mouth.
Yeah, and it's the most effective. And think about it, if Apple didn't want to market or run any paid advertisements, which honestly I've never really seen a paid Apple ad, they don't have to, because you know who markets their products for them? Their customers, us. Yeah, we all have an iPhone. And when the first 5th grader had the iPhone he showed you, you went right to your parents or whoever was raising you at the time, you're like, I need one. I need one. So yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you with that, Appio, for sure.
Franny, do you have a favorite thing about the new school generation of sales business?
My favorite thing, because I like to be comfortable in my work setting, obviously, and I think that most people work more efficient comfortably, and I'm not even just getting down to like the dress code of modern day business, but just having a more relaxed and comfortable work environment and not being more stringent and uptight about certain things. Obviously there's a lot more ethics and code that go into it. There's HRs and big corporations and stuff like that right now. So I think just that work is more of like a safe haven for people nowadays instead of, I think some people used to literally just go in for a paycheck, and obviously some people still do that now, but I think more people actually enjoy their job because companies had to employ a lot of different things, deploy a lot of different things in order to keep their people happy. So dressing up nice, having a safe work environment, having a fun work environment, doing activities as a team, creating social media, TikToks, YouTube videos, podcasts that I think just makes the teams happy and just creates a better work environment. So I just think the fact that I think modern day, if you work for a good company, the work environment's better at that company than it maybe was back in the day with your average company. So I just think the work environment for sure.
I know we've said it before too, like work, like especially here, it's like going to sports. It's like when you're in high school, like it's a place to get away from everything, it's your safe haven.
That's how you want it to be. Yeah. People back in the day used to hate going to work and then hate having to go home, to the wife and kids too. It's like, if you at least hate going to the wife and kids, at least like where you're going for 8, 9, 10 hours a day. That's the least that I could do for my team. I can't control everything on your, in your personal life, but I could at least control what goes on 8 to 10 hours here, at your work environment.
Deeps into the company culture too. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Company culture wasn't such a big thing back in the day. It really was just profits, learning what we're doing. And
profits cut costs.
Yeah, that's it. Profits cut costs. There was no like, hey guys, want pizza Friday?
That
wasn't a thing.
Now we actually have a budget built out for having fun. It's called the fun budget. It's on our balance sheet.
Yes, it's my favorite expense to write off.
It's a fun expense. It's a good time.
I definitely do love the we can dress down and it's socially acceptable to everybody. Like I can come into work wearing a weighted vest to get ready, preparing for if I ever have to wear my bulletproof vest. But yeah, I love that I can come in wearing this thing and everyone's just like, okay.
Yeah.
What is that for? Oh, just for this. I'm getting ready. I bought a placard. I bought a chest. chest plates.
Training.
Getting training. And so
true.
I want to get ready to wear.
That's true.
Nobody even thinks twice.
No.
The one thing that is, I'm sorry. The one thing though that goes against that is that a lot of older school businessmen who we still have to deal with don't always respect that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that we always have to be careful with, and that's why we do dress up a few times during the week, because just in case if we have a partner come in, we have a lender come in, anybody who's just involved with the making of Lexington, we want to look good, we want to present ourselves respectably, because that's how a lot of people think, and we understand that from the older school generation. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks than a new dog new tricks. Obviously, our parents, there's certain things that they think, and you can never change their mind. No matter how new school we are, like they're always going to think that way, and we're going to feel the same way with a lot of different things. So although it is great, in certain situations or scenarios, we do still have to dress up to earn the respect of other people.
Yeah.
But there is ways to still earn the respect of other people while dressing down. I think one good example is just always outworking them. So if you outwork somebody, I think they're automatically always going to respect you. If you put in the time, you put in the effort like they did when they were younger, I think they're going to respect you. If you out hustle and bustle and you beat them, I think they'll end up respecting you inside of business. So there's ways to mitigate against that. But I think for the most part, the business dress code is very more relaxed, and people understand that we want to just be comfortable where we come in. And even Fortune 500 companies wearing polos and jeans.
Yeah.
And
A lot of the
they're
tech
and they're
companies,
getting
yeah.
away with it.
Yeah.
So
It's
all day long.
It's funny on the partnership side of things. I talk to a lot of different people in a lot of different stages in that either new or old school business. A lot of them, like I'm talking to them, they're like, man, like I'm sitting here in my desk right now, my tie, I can't breathe. He's like, I'm watching your videos when I should be working. Like, you guys look like you're having so much fun.
Yeah.
And then you're here, and we're all very on the ball, sharp as a tack, expert in our field.
Yeah.
So like when we're talking to them, they're like, you're working like this right now. You're sitting here in a sweatshirt. And I'm like, absolutely.
You would think we're in a suit and a tie.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we carry ourselves as professionals because we know that if we're going to dress down, we need to carry ourselves with a lot of professionalism to make up for that if
Yeah.
other people are looking down on that.
Yeah. We don't have to compensate for our unprofessionalism by wearing the suits.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think people that have paved the way for kind of the business dress down is a lot of these like Fortune 500 CEOs. Like for a good example, like Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban, Kevin O'Leary, when he first met Mark Cuban, he's like, why the hell are you dressed in a t-shirt and shorts? And then Mark said, because whenever I walk into a room, people want to do business with me. I don't necessarily want to do business with them. So if you're that attractable and people want to do business with you that bad and you're that successful, does it really matter what you wear?
No,
Obviously no.
not at all.
Yeah, obviously no.
I'd still have a conversation with Mark Cuban.
Dude, I would die to have a conversation with Mark Cuban.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like sweatpants.
Could
suit,
probably change
whatever
the
you
whole
want.
outlook of business for me
Yeah.
if I had
10-minute convo.
10-minute conversation with that guy. Yeah, 100%.
The cool thing about dressing a little bit down with the way our wardrobes are, it's like 80% Lexington.
Yes.
So it's also the free market.
Agreed.
All the time.
Agreed. Yeah, we're always wearing Lex merch. Shout out Bree and our partnership
Bree.
with Champion. We have a team store. You can check it out online, lexington.com. Go in the top right hand corner. You can check out our team store. So yeah, we're always wearing Lex gear, which I think does make up for it. And a lot of our Lex gear does look really good too. It's not like it's like bummy gear.
No, I mean, just
So,
look at this. Beautiful.
yeah, beautiful.
I wear it.
Yeah, it's
We
very
have
nice.
golf pants, golf shorts,
yeah.
polos.
Yes.
Funny enough, speaking about this, I was
Very
in a
nice jackets.
I was
do
in a
love the
store
jacket.
the other day, just like perusing around, and this guy like came to help me out after, and like he like looked, and then he like ran over to me. He goes, "Dude, I'm so sorry. Like, didn't realize that you were with Lexington." He's like, "How can I help you?"
No way.
Yeah, I'll tell you what store after this. But
That's
yeah.
so cool.
I was like, "Oh yeah, sorry. Thanks, man."
That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
I
He's like,
love
"If you
that.
need anything, you let me know." I'm like, "Sure, we'll
I
do.
love
Thanks,
that.
man."
That's cool.
And it's cool too because it kind of sparks an interest in people around you because you never
Yeah.
know who you're sitting next to. So
True.
sometimes you'll be sitting somewhere and you're wearing it, and it just sparks like kind of a networking situation.
That's
They're
true.
like,
Oh,
Yeah.
all the time.
Lexington, when they see capital, they automatically associate it with money. So they're like,
Yeah.
okay, what do you do?
That's a new school thing too, low key merch.
Merch.
Like merch in your business. Like people didn't used to rock like Google merch and stuff like that back in the day. And it's funny because I would love to rock some Google merch.
Oh, sick Google shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sick.
well,
That'd be cool, yeah.
And to point on that too, that's actually a nice change from old school to new school is the merch because like back in the day it was pens, notepads, water
Yes,
bottles,
yeah,
like stupid stuff.
yeah.
Like nowadays you go to any street fair and like they're
love a
giving
good
out
pen.
shirts, they're giving out hats, they're doing all like real visible merch. Like if I have your pen, like that's not going to go anywhere than my desk.
Yeah.
I'm not going to walk around town flailing around your pen like, hey, check out this insurance company. Like, no, dude, give me a shirt.
Even some of our referral partners, Tom told me a story the other day. They love wearing our merch too. We have this one woman who's a referral partner of ours, and she like wanted to wear Lexington gear because just like you said, when she goes out, people ask her like, oh, what's that for? What do you do? Oh, I work very closely with a company called Lexington Capital Holdings. We help people of all walks of life get themselves business finance. It's just the conversation starter, not just for our own selves, but our partners as well. I mean, our families, everything.
Absolutely.
We're proud to wear that on our chest.
Proud Lexinites.
She is. She was hanging out on a cruise. I didn't hear from her for 2 weeks almost. And she was on a cruise. She called me all
Living her
staticky.
best life.
Yeah, all static. She's like, I just saw how much dropped into my bank account. I was like, I'm on a cruise. I just funded this deal. I didn't even remember.
Life's good. Life's good when you work with Lex.
Life is good when you work with
Passive
Lex.
income, baby.
We did touch on this topic a little bit, but I want to dive into technology. So obviously technology, and you'll probably have a lot
Love
to say
tech.
about this. It's what's revolutionized business, nowadays. The way that we could communicate, how everything's a lot faster. To be honest with you, if you were to throw me, back in the dawn of time in business, I would be like a little lost in the beginning until I could like truly catch my toes on the ground. But what's funny enough is that if you threw Thomas Edison in this modern day age of having the technology, he would feel the same way. He'd be lost too. He probably wouldn't know how to use a computer. So I just think that development of new technology and just how we could be more quicker, faster, and more efficient has really allowed for businesses to make more money in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, the quicker, the faster, the efficiency, the being able to multitask multiple things on multiple different monitors, let alone 2, 3, if not 4 monitors that you have overall. I'm sure you're going to touch on it, but I got to steal some of your thunder. Like
Take
all
it.
of the data analytics that we get to gather and then implement new structures into the company is insane. Imagine having to sit there on handwritten spreadsheets with a typewriter, trying to even just get these analytics onto a piece of paper.
They definitely didn't keep track of KPIs.
You don't know your CAC.
And that's half the battle. You didn't know your CAC. And that's half the battle of business is knowing your KPIs. So you could cut so much cost or implement and double down on a certain strategy if you just know where the money's coming from.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to know that if you're sitting down and if you're a company at scale. When you're a startup, it's not that hard. It's very easy to keep your data. But when you're a company at scale, especially like us, you're hitting the 7, 8, 9, 10 figure mark. It's like it's virtually impossible unless you have some sort of automation doing that for you. And that's another huge thing too is the emergence of automation and AI inside of your business has been huge in developing the modern new age of business.
And AI is like just touching the tip too. I mean, like
It just
a
started.
year or two ago, like it really just started coming out pretty crazy. I know like the end of my college experience, like ChatGPT was like a little bit of a thing, but like hardly even known about. And then, a year or two after, like now we went to a Salesforce summit with it was all AI.
it
We
was all
sat
AI,
in for 8 hours on different AI.
Because that's what
things.
everyone's doubling
That's
down on.
all they want.
That's
yeah.
what everyone's doubling down on. Because at the end of the day, you still need the human touch, but if you can make the humans more efficient and you could touch more clients, service more clients, ship more boxes or whatever, life will be a lot better.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, and even as Abby was saying, with some of the tech that has started, I mean, early 2000s, let's call it, like you were on an Excel sheet if you were lucky.
Yeah.
Nowadays we have, I mentioned them just a second ago, Salesforce, robust CRM. We're not promoted by them, by the way. Just a robust CRM that can be built out how you want it. It can do what you need it to do. It comes great out of the box, but there's so many other like just platforms and stuff just to help you. I mean, we've grown from, again, like even just Excel now to being it on the cloud. Like that's a huge business advantage
Cloud
too,
is
because
huge.
think about how many cloud sheets like we're all just putzing around on every day where it's like, hey, can you check out this list? And like, we just pull up the sheet. Like I would have had to take it from a thumb drive, walk it over to you and say, hey, take a look at this. And then 5 years after that, hey, check out that email with the drive, and now 5 years after that, hey, just open up the sheet, like in 10 years, so much has changed. The technology's crazy. I mean, a computer used to be the size of this room and it would take a day or so to compute like
with only 2
basic-
gigabytes of RAM.
No.
Megabytes, like
500 megabits if you were lucky.
Yeah.
Like that's half of a half, dude. Like, we're crazy.
We've come a long way in technology.
Even,
I mean,
I was gonna say even something small like our dialer. You know what I mean? Like the stock traders back in the day sitting there doing.
Yes.
It would take you, if you were good, 5, 7, 8, 10 seconds to dial a number. But we could dial multiple numbers.
If they
Send
dial
text and
200, 300
emails.
people a day, we could dial 1,000.
Yeah, and you can send out texts and emails while you're doing it, so
Yeah.
you're able to touch quadruple the amount of people in the same amount of time that this guy would have been able to get 200 calls out.
I mean,
A good
even-
for instance is I was reading some about stockbrokers back in the day pretty recently, and a stock trade, like although they might have made the sale on the phone that day, it didn't go through that day. They had to mail them stuff, and then the person had to then mail them like some information back. I don't know all the like depths on it. It would take about like a week to 2 weeks in order to like put the trade physically through. And like keep in mind with stocks, like a stock could be $1.50 one day, and it could be $1.75 the other day. You know, say the person's like keen up on stocks, they see that it plummeted, you know, or that it went up. They might not want to invest. They might not even send you the stuff back. Meanwhile, we could sell and fund a business loan in the same exact day in less than 24 hours because of the technology. So I think just technology just changed the game tremendously.
100%. I mean, even with like just the old school, new school advantage, like think about banks, you know, like as new at age as they are and becoming, like you walk in, bro, their computers are still from 2005.
Oh, they're so behind. They're so behind.
The computers are slow.
Yeah, it's
like
nuts.
just to process a
Fortune
process a
500
credit card,
companies.
dude. Like it takes 2 weeks to process a credit card. Sometimes it'll take you 2 to 3 to get a loan. You know, like we, as you said, we do it within a day. You know, and that's just like the fintech space compared to the old school banking industry. They'll get there eventually if they want to, but like clearly they don't.
They're
have
just putting
to,
money
you
into
know?
other things.
Exactly. But, you know, like you see, like even just like walk around, like the technology is still pretty old school for some places. It's kind of crazy what they're doing.
Yeah, that is our competitive advantage, though, is our technology compared to the major banks.
Yeah,
no doubt.
One thing we have on our side, a little nerd fact, thing called Moore's Law, and basically it says that every 18 months the speed of technology doubles. And since, again, when I was in college, it actually decreased from every 18 months to every 12 months. So every year, the speed of technology is doubling. So, you know, you take that from we're in 2024 right now. I mean, look at 2026, like things are going to be obsolete or they're just going to be great. But like there's things 3, 4, 5 times faster than that now, you know, like it's crazy just even to think in the future of what the technology we're going to be dealing with to help our business is going to be.
And most people with these banks are waiting on. Just one more year, guys. We're going to let it double once more, and then we'll get new computers.
If Chase Bank hired the CEO of On Deck, Chase Bank would thrive.
Oh, yeah.
They would thrive. If they hired like a fintech CEO, they would thrive.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Let's dive into another topic that we dabbled on a little bit, but that's marketing. So, you know, marketing, obviously, it's changed so much. You know, like back in the day, like it was like the really biggest thing was word of mouth and referrals. I would say like really was, but nowadays you could run paid advertisements, you can run email marketing campaigns, you can run text marketing campaigns, you could obviously do cold outreach, you could do warm outreach, you could create content through social media. So there's a lot of different things and more tactics in order to acquire a customer in modern day. It might maybe cost more, but you could bring in more business because of it. So
It's definitely your outreach is bigger. I mean, one post on Instagram could reach 500 people in an hour. You know, meanwhile, when we were back in the day, you throw one thing in the penny saver and it took a week to get in the penny saver, another week to get out to everybody, and then it only ran for a day. You know, like our stuff on Instagram, you click share, like, comment, and it recycles again.
and that's
for free.
how the ads that we're running is popping up in front of these people every single day. They might only read that penny saver once, and then they see Lexington, and it's like boom, they creep over. So now like you have to keep continuing paying penny saver to keep putting your ads in every day, every week, every month, every year in order to like keep your business in the fresh of mind with the client.
The thing I love about social media marketing, especially for like a startup company, is I've seen, you know, just on the internet, so many people's lives change just from one good video that they made about their business, and it completely changes everything. I mean, there's those food review guys who go to restaurants and review their food, and then the next day they have a line out the door, and their whole trajectory of business is completely
Dave
changed.
Portnoy. One bite, everyone knows the rules.
Yeah.
Guy changed the pizza game. It was insane.
And that's technically free. You know what I mean? You can download an app to start making videos, be creative, and now you have a ton of free marketing, and your business is ramping up revenue like crazy.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. You know, I love shooting videos. Everybody knows I love shooting my videos. The only way that you can shoot a video old school is if for a television commercial, a paid television commercial, if you want to pay for that to be local, you know, X amount of dollars, regional, X amount of dollars, or nationwide, X amount of dollars.
Nowadays, I don't think it's worth running a Super Bowl commercial, even if you're a Fortune 500 company.
Paying over $1 million.
Notice how it's only the
It's
same
crazy.
5 companies doing it. You know?
Yeah, but even $1 million, like, and I think it's more like these companies piss it out. But I still just think that there's just more effective ways to market nowadays.
Yeah. Wasn't it On Deck that ran a Super Bowl commercial?
On Deck,
It
On
was
Deck,
them, right?
yeah, they ran a Super Bowl
I see
commercial.
their commercials quite a bit, actually.
Oh, they frequently run commercials.
Yeah,
Wow.
they frequently run commercials.
So
yeah.
that's actually something I want to talk about is even though we're in like this new school age of business, like we still have to cater to the old school. We still should be catering to people who watch TV, you know,
Yes.
like to people who look at signs, you know, like there's still the older people who aren't that tech savvy as
Well,
we
that's
say.
why we do direct mail marketing,
Yeah.
which is still huge, and that touches a lot of different people. That's why we do focus it on Facebook because let's call it what it is. Lex, call it what it is. Most older people are still on Facebook.
Love Facebook.
You know, they are on Facebook, and the ones that maybe aren't tech savvy enough to be on Facebook, they've probably retired and sold their business by now.
Yeah.
You know, our average median age of the people that we fund is 56 and a half years old. So I'd say, you know, we do the right thing to still pinpoint and hit, you know, these certain people. I don't think we need to go out and run commercial ads. And
Oh,
stuff
no,
like that
no, yeah.
And put ads in the penny saver in order to, you know, acquire business. I think direct mail marketing and Facebook is good enough to hit the older generation.
Isn't that crazy too that like Facebook is like used to hit the older generation, you know?
That's pretty,
Like-
I mean, they caught on, you know, because
They did.
Facebook's only like 20-something years old, and I know I say only, but, you know, I don't know. I just think it's pretty nuts that like they caught up to the technology pretty quick and are using it.
Yeah. Like my grandma uses Facebook. I get
Yeah.
like messages from her. It's like, how do you know how to?
Yeah,
why are you bothering
how'd you
me?
figure this out?
Yeah. Just give me a call.
Yeah. One thing that I wanted to bring up as well, it's like a little side topic, is education. So back in the day, in order to work for a corporate company, Fortune 500, just like any really like white collar company, you had to have a background in education. You needed to go to college, get your bachelor's, get an MBA, and it's crazy because if you would have asked us, you know, even like 5-10 years ago, if we would have felt the same way, we would have said yes. But modern day, actually, these new companies aren't caring if you got a degree.
No.
Google, Microsoft, all of them, they don't even necessarily care if you have a degree.
The banks do care a bit that you can't get
Banks.
you can't get
You could still work there, though.
promoted up to a
Yes.
certain level if you don't
Yes.
have your you know your bachelor's
Yes.
degree.
But a lot
Even
of
I think that's gonna
a lot of
phase
companies,
out.
even like ourselves. I mean, we don't care about a degree. We employ more people who don't have a degree than do have a degree. I think it's because a degree is just getting so watered down because everybody has it, and people are realizing that you don't need to even be that smart to get a degree.
No. And even let's call it as like I always say it. As much as I enjoyed my college experience, I'm a huge advocate for anti-college because all you learn is you learn the generics and then you get a little sprinkle of what you want to learn.
Yeah.
You know, at my 4 years in college, let's say there was 30 courses I took, like 14 of them were something I actually wanted to learn. The other ones were just BS courses that they used to, you know, look in my pockets and grab some money from me.
Yeah.
You know, like there's nothing. It's all all theory. There's no application in college. You know, even when you're like doing something like a blue collar trade. You know, like my school is big on that. You know, these guys are in these tech fields and they're learning how to do electricity, learning plumbing, learning HVAC, whatever it is, and like they go out and they're like, that's not how we want you to do it.
Yeah.
You know, like it's all theory nowadays, and like theory doesn't apply to application always. We could take an MBA guy who worked at Deloitte for 5 years, bring him in here, and he's like, I don't know what to do. You know?
Yeah, that's true. That's why the most effective way to run college modern day, if we were to revamp the system, is just to make it like a giant trade school.
Yeah.
Like pick a trade your freshman year, do the trade. You don't like it, change your trade your sophomore year. And the trade could be like everything from being an automotive mechanic to a marketer, a digital marketer, to being an entrepreneur and trying to open up a business, to stockbrokering, to
coding.
being a financial advisor. And then you're doing like all these there's many businesses inside of college is what it is, like nonprofit businesses that are ran by the professors who are the business owners would be the most effective way for people to pick out what they like because they're actually doing the job physically itself instead of learning about it for 4, 5, 6 years, and then they get into it and they're like, crap, this is the one I wanted to do.
Yeah.
That would be the most effective way to run college, is modern
Yeah,
day.
I love how you just said that. My sister's going to Ole Miss right now, and she's in her sophomore year, and she has to declare a major, and she's
doesn't know.
19 years old. She has no clue what she
Dude,
wants.
it's
to do.
hard to ask a 19-year-old to figure out what they want to do for the rest of their lives. I mean, we were all lost at 19 years old. I didn't think I was going to be doing this, and none of you guys thought you'd be doing this at 19 years old. I'm sure you had different, ideas and opinions of what you thought you were going to do. So, dude, yeah, it's crazy that they ask these kids for that and then want to put them in debt and have them take out loans when they can't even take out a loan to open up a business.
Yeah.
You can't even take out a mortgage, but they'll let you get in 60 to 100 grand worth of debt because they think that's a good investment.
It is definitely great that it's loosened up too, because there's a whole untapped market of just raw talent and ambition that,
Of course.
some of these people
That have
they
been getting
didn't
put
have the
down
option.
for years,
Yeah, they
too.
didn't have the option to go to college. you know what I
Agreed.
mean? And now they have whole new opportunities, and they're probably going to be a lot hungrier and a lot grittier to take those positions.
Agreed,
and
man. I mean,
excel.
our industry is just such a blessing in disguise, man. I mean, like, I never would have thought that any of my friends could get into finance that did not have a degree. I got an MBA because I wanted to always be in finance, and I thought that that's what you had to do to get into finance. And then I found out this beautiful industry, that you just don't even need that. You don't need it to be an insurance agent. You don't need to be a financial advisor at most companies. So yeah, it's pretty nuts. The false connotations about going to college, but I really do like that it's loosening up nowadays. And if I had a kid who was 18 years old, I would push against not going to college. And if they were going to go, community college, figure out what you want, get a little educated, and then take it from there.
Yeah. I like what you said about you don't need the degree for things, because like a lot of these trades too, like maybe it's just a certification. Like you go to financial advisors, they're actually one of my favorite in the financial space, because like you just need a couple certs, like your Series 7, 63, 65. Like you can do all that stuff in 6 months instead of 4 years. And
if you did that like in your trade school, if you did that, and then you actually like got to like fake financial advice for like people, and like you're picking different stocks for them to invest in bonds, and like trying it out, failing, succeeding through a year or two, and then boom, like once you hit 2 years of like doing a trade, it's like boom, they set you up with a job.
Yeah.
Do you guys know how I started working as a financial advisor at New York Life? How I got that job?
No, actually, I never heard this one.
Through selling ice cream.
Really?
Yep, because I was just such an animal selling ice cream, such a good ice cream salesman, that one of the real higher ups over at New York Life over in Melville, he was out on his 50-foot Viking boat.
I know who it is.
Sold him ice cream, and he recruited. That's why he wanted me to come and work with him.
Yeah.
For those who may not know, Epi used to sell ice cream on a boat.
To other boats.
To other boats.
A lot of fun. For 10 years I did that.
I went with him once. It was actually a great time.
It's a great time.
I went with him once. I'm holding up the sign, and we go up to one of the boats, and she's like, "What? Your girlfriend cut her hair and gained some pounds?" I'm like, "Damn, dude!" I'm like, "Yo,"
That's
I normally
messed
goes, yeah. I'm like, "Yo,"
But it happened like multiple times.
yeah. Like I was just so beat. It was like within a half hour, I
Defeated.
just defeated from these people. Loved him though.
That's a good difference too. I mean, I didn't really grow up then or get sold back in the day, but I feel like there's just infinitely more personality that can shine through the sales process nowadays. Everyone's a little bit more laid back or more tense and want to hear a good joke really quick to get them laughing, and it just makes it a lot lighter and more personal.
Business was definitely more serious back in the day, and everybody felt like they had to be more serious, so they weren't doing their job. And you're right. I feel like people have a little bit more personality nowadays than they used to. I don't know what lightened people up a little bit.
Some
but
people still need that lightning.
yeah, it's definitely something. Yeah, some people definitely do. But I mean, and that's the whole point of new business versus old business. And it's cool, where we come from, because we've dealt with our parents' generation of being more serious, being more Deloitte, and then we know how to deal with people in our generation because we've grown up with them. So we kind of have the best of both worlds. I feel like some of the older generation is a little lost when they're trying to communicate with younger people in business, and I think we have the advantage because we know how to communicate with both. We could turn off that light switch whenever we need to.
Yeah, a lot of these older folks definitely get a little, maybe not lost, but nervous at first when I'm explaining some of our products over in the bank room, because it's an untraditional way of obtaining traditional financing, and people just want, I just want a term loan, or I just want a line of credit. But there's so many strategic routes that you can go about financing and go about anything nowadays that works so much better for your client, but you have to get their old school ways to wrap around it and really have a true understanding and grasp it, and speak with their CPA, speak with their attorney, have these three-way calls to get some of these older school folks to understand that this really is the best product for you at this point in time.
Most definitely. Yeah. And even that too, like one of my favorite aspects of new business is just the I know it's kind of ties in, but the availability of how quickly I can get that new business. Like even talking about like the phones again, like Apple, like I can go on their website and check out the last 5 phones and all their differences. Meanwhile, I would have had to go to AT&T and say, hey, like what's the difference between this one? What's the difference between that one? And like get sold on something. Meanwhile, I could just sell myself while I'm on their website, checking it out, what's going on, and click buy, and there I go. I still wind up going to, Verizon to do my thing, but, I like to have a guy, as we always say. But yeah, dude, like the availability to be sold, like your jacket, weighted vests, like boom, I'm sold. I don't got to go to Dick's anymore and talk to the guy and look at 30 of them and maybe pick up something else while I'm there. Like the new business, it's attainable.
I think that's what new school business like is MO and model really is convenience.
Yeah.
Like let's think about Amazon. They're just shipping packages to you guys way more efficiently and a cheaper rate. Let's look at DoorDash. If you want to pay more money to have your food delivered right to you, boom. You have it right there. Obviously, delivery services with restaurants and pizzerias. People just having a basic website online, even like service-based industry, so that people could view their work online and contact somebody online instead of having to go to like your local store and having to speak to a representative. You could just go online, make a phone call, whatever you want to do, look them up, get tools and resources from their website or their social medias.
To tail off that too, one of my new favorite things about the new school business is subscription models compared to purchase models.
Yeah, subscription
Like
models
the
are
fact that like I spend $6 a month, whatever it is, to have all the music I want at the top of like tip of my hand, compared to having to go to Best Buy, grab a CD, go to the record store, whatever it is,
Yep.
have to single buy all the music. Like just
Yep.
having a subscription model, $6 to $12 a month, depending on whatever service you use, and you get all the music you want.
Yeah.
You know.
That's changed 3 times in our lives. So you used to have to go to the store to grab the disc.
Did, shit.
Then Apple and Steve Jobs came out with buying a song for $1,
Yep.
and you had to spend $1 for each song, and then boom, it was Spotify came out with the subscription model.
Yes.
And I mean, even think about like what's it called, like media, like movies, like Netflix.
Movies, yeah,
You used to have to
Netflix.
go
Yeah.
to the box and
Yeah.
like Redbox and pull it out and get a movie or get a video game.
I'm surprised movie theaters are still in business with how lazy people
Yeah.
are.
The
nowadays.
nostalgia,
Yeah.
man.
I love movie
I go once.
theaters,
I
but
love movie theaters
agree.
too, but I also think it's because we grew up going to movie theaters
Yeah.
and the excitement and us like understanding. Like I feel like for like these kids, it's just like I could just watch it at home.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
there's
And
an
it could be
experience
noisy
to
and-
it.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
thing for our not our clients per se, but our partners that I think is going to become extremely convenient for them, and I think it's already implemented, but this is not my realm. Somebody commented on the webinar that I shot before about the partner portal.
Yeah.
People back in the day, they don't have a partner portal that you can log into and see at what status your client is throughout the process. You kind of just have to bring your client over to somebody and hope that they're trustworthy enough to not sneak a few deals by you without it getting through the cracks. This is kind of my gentle reminder to go back in the comments and figure out who exactly that was
Already
asking
did.
about. You're the man. I should have known. I should have known. But having stuff like that for your partners and for your clients, has seen the convenience of being able to check on their status of their loans, check on their client statuses. That's another convenience within itself that is huge for new school and growing your business beyond its point.
Even
Yeah.
like 5 years ago, like when I had like my insurance agency, like there wasn't partner portals back then. I had like 10 referral partners, and I would just get calls every day. Like, how's this file looking? How's this file looking? How's this file looking? Would have loved to have a portal. Like take a look for yourself. You know, I'm trying to sell other clients here.
It's definitely great too because we're very flexible with our partners. So we have a lot of older school partners who will not use that. Have verbatim told me, he's like, I like email threads. I'm staying with the email thread. Perfect, no problem. And then we have like you said, the newer school people who have so many questions
The
about
affiliates.
the files. The affiliates.
The affiliates.
The affili-
We have
that's another-
partners and we have affiliates.
That's a big thing
The
too.
affiliates is the new school people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Very
the
much.
affiliate marketing. It's huge now. I mean, anybody can really get into it with a short amount of capital, and it opens doors to huge amounts of lead flow that would be untouched if we didn't have this type of technology. On top of that, like you said, they can answer a lot of their own questions just by taking a peek. Obviously, we offer a lot of different things, so there's some more intricate questions that you have to have a guy for. But the partner portal saves a lot of time for these people.
Absolutely.
One thing too that one thing I don't like about the new generation. Yeah, get ready for this, my
Oh
boys.
no, we've only talked about positives.
I know.
this is
Here's
true.
the negative. It's the connotation of instant gratification in this new generation.
Okay.
Everyone sees like, I got my e-commerce site up in 90 days. See how you can do it. Like, that's not true. You might have taken 90 days to go from like $2,000 a month to $15,000 a month. You might have boomed, but like, what about those other 6-7 months that you weren't doing that you were putting in the work, that you were learning? So like, this false perspective of like instant gratification. Like, we know in our company, like we can fund someone in 12 hours, but like, we're also very disciplined to know that, hey, just because we funded them in 12 hours doesn't mean that we're going to do that again tomorrow. So this is how we delay. This is how we build ourselves. I see you want to say something.
I was going to
Get on in
piggyback
here.
off that. Another negative about the new school
Two
is
negatives.
is the ability to spread mass amounts of misinformation
Yes.
to the masses, like immediately. I was able to get $600,000 in business financing with my day-old business with just an EIN, like
No, you weren't.
just to sell your courses. Like, it's rude, it's bad.
I haven't seen that in a while.
I
haven't seen that one in
the
a little- in a
comment
couple
warriors
months.
have been going after these people.
Yeah, good.
I hope so.
But yeah, dude, there's just the instant gratification behind this. It's just like, people need to realize that like business takes time, and like once you realize that, then like you will be good with what you're doing. Because at the moment, like again, you go on Instagram, you go on Facebook, watch how I did this in 30 days. Like you really didn't though. Like there's so much more behind the scenes that was more than that 30 days. I can't just buy your course and have a stand-up e-commerce site tomorrow. Like it takes time. It takes money to do that. Like you're running promotions. I just started. I don't have money for promotions. So what do? I hammer on my Instagram. I hammer on my Facebook. I tell my friends. I put in the blood, sweat, and tears compared compared to just like having a couple bucks to do it. But like the instant gratification in our new generation, it's not tangible, it's not real.
Yeah, I mean, Frankie says it best all the time that people nowadays, most people, they have that 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year vision.
Yeah.
That's as far as they can be capable of looking ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But Frankie himself, he has that 5, 10, 20-year vision down the line, and we've all been growing and learning ourselves to have that longer vision, maybe that 1 to 5 year or that 5 to 10-year vision.
Yeah.
The instant gratification is definitely a huge downfall of today's generation.
Mm-hmm.
Has to do with the dopamine that you can get just from looking at your phone for 5 minutes, and you get caught doom scrolling for another 5 hours, and that's just so much instant gratification that's going straight to your dome. It's soiled everybody. It's soiled our generation.
Yeah.
And our generation's possibility for future success. That's why if you're just remotely a savage and you have that long-term vision, that you're going to run through everybody, just like Dana White says.
Yeah. And even if you do happen to receive the instant gratification that you can today, like going viral, like that freaking Hawk Tua girl, like she has nothing else to her other than that skit.
Nothing.
Like she went on for a concert somewhere, they were booing her. It's like she's trying to sell merch, no one's buying it. She made a couple bucks off the meme, but like if she would have taken the time and like built a brand and started off at 10 views and then went to 5,000 views and then went to 100,000 views, like that's how you prolong your career, because she's got another month or two. Like congratulations on your podcast with the Paul brothers, but like
Back working at retail.
yeah, you're not going to be doing that for much longer. Like people are going to realize that you're just not what you are. You didn't put the time and work into it.
Yeah. I mean, the longer you could delay gratification, usually the better the outcome ends up being. As in business and in life, the man who could delay gratification the longest wins inside of business. That's like one of my favorite sayings. You guys are definitely all right in everything that you're saying, and anything that's worth having, it's better to take the longer route in order to get it, and it's usually way more worthwhile once you get it, because for one, you appreciate it a lot more, and two, it ends up being a lot better the longer that you could delay the gratification. Like for instance, like I could have 5 Ferraris right now, or I can make us a Fortune 500 company. Like, what am I going to do? I'm like picking the trade-offs. So I'm very good at delaying gratification. I think that's why we've been able to be so successful. And it's like everybody thinks that, in business, like you could just be an overnight success. And you can be. But it's through years of hard work. And then one day you wake up and you look back and you're like, I'm an overnight success. And, I mean, Lexington, you can even look at Lexington and think that we, what's the word I'm looking for? That we grew really fast and we are an overnight success, but we're really not. It's been almost 3 years of the CEO working 100 to 120 hours a week, and finally we're just starting to crack the surface of like where we're trying to get at. Like we're just starting to like hit like a good spot of like where we want to be, and it definitely didn't happen overnight, and it didn't happen in any other business that night. It took a lot of blood, sweat, tears, hard work, and it's just really tough. Building a business, building a brand, anything in life is tough. I mean, Mr. Beast making videos for 12 years and then finally blowing up. People, Floyd Mayweather boxing for X amount of years before he was able to become a world champion. Anything in life worth having is worth waiting for, and the longer you could delay the gratification. Think about a little catapult. If you hit it, if you let it go here, it's not going to go that far. But if you keep winding it back, and you let it go here, it's going to float.
Freaking like
I
that
like
one.
that
It's a
one.
good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is that a new one? I haven't heard that.
That is a new one.
I've said it in a morning meeting before.
I like
Thanks
that.
for listening.
You might have been out that day.
Yes, sir.
But,
I think one last thing that I wanted to talk about is the in-person vibe, and how that's still important modern day to where it was back in the old school days. So we all know that like old school phrase, like every business like deal was made off a handshake, obviously, and it's still like that modern day. So yes, there's Zoom and Google Meet and Microsoft Teams and all that, and that's cool to be able to make business faster and speed it up, but a handshake is still going to win the deal and make somebody respect you more than not doing that. Look at like lenders who have came in and they've met us, we've fed them, we've hung out with them, we've laughed with them, we've argued with them in person, had that in-person feel, that in-person camaraderie, and then boom, how much more business we were doing with them after.
Yeah.
That's why we go to events. We don't just go to events to have fun. We go to events so we could meet the people that we're doing business with in person, shake their hands, look them in the eyes, have fun, grab a
some
drink
bread.
with them, BS with them, and then that usually cultivates the relationship to be a lot better.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I always said about the era that we grew up in, all of us. It's kind of like the last few years of kids who got to grow up without that instant gratification. And then while we matured, we were now inept to using technology. So we still have the half that we could stare a grown person in their eyes and speak to them and shake their hand and have a legitimate conversation. And then we can also go and blast out social media marketing and kind of have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel like our, that 1996 to 2002 gap is kind of like the last era of that. Where,
Last of the Mohegans.
you knew it was time to go home when the lights came on, or your mom was going to beat you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not like that anymore, and I feel like
Yeah.
it gives us a certain edge that is, like you said, just dulling every
Definitely.
year.
Definitely. Because even like 30, 35-year-olds don't have a good grasp of technology as well as that we do.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at Uncle Funkle compared to you. I'm just kidding.
I get scared.
Yeah, no, that's a major advantage. I mean, you're definitely right. And, anyone who's coming, after us, like, even like kids like Liam and stuff like that, like, we had to, like, teach Liam to be a man, like, to a certain extent, So yeah, it's tough when your face is stuffed in an iPad. Your first 18 years of life, and then you finally realize that there's sun outside. Like, what is this? You're like Howie from the Benchwarmers.
Eating sunscreen.
The sun.
No, dude, I've been saying about that. Like, it makes me like a little worried for like my nieces and nephews because they're freaking iPad kids.
Well, that's why I
know?
feel like being a parent is more harder than ever in modern day, because you have just so much forces going against you that you just need to be more in your kids' face and just like pushing values onto them, because the world's pushing certain values onto them that you probably don't agree with. So it's our job to now force our values down their throat. And that also comes with us. Like, obviously we do business on the weekends, but like that's going to have to probably stop, once we have kids, because I don't want my son or daughter seeing me on the phone 24/7 cutting business deals. I want them to see me just go outside playing, just being like a normal person. Yeah, I'm not glued in my phone, nor should you be when you hit that age. I'm not even into the whole iPad thing. Like, they're probably going to see their friends have it. I'm going to say, we don't do that. You want to be like Johnny? What's Johnny's dad like? What's Johnny's dad like? You want to be like Johnny's dad? You want to be like your dad?
Just see how the PTA meetings go.
Yeah.
Breaks
Just
into
smack them with the iPads.
Yeah, kids are getting homeschooled in charter school.
Dude, when I see a
Anthony's.
kid's face glued in that shit, I just want to like take it and just slap the kid with it.
Yeah.
And then slap the parent for allowing the kid to do that. It's just because, like, dude, and the worst part about it is the parent is on their phone too.
Yeah.
both just hanging out.
Yeah, it's like, dude, like,
They're
why don't
actually
you just,
messaging
why don't
each
you just talk to your kid, dude?
Yeah.
Like, dude, me and my dad used to play
a
just like
cop-out.
random games. Like, we used to just like make up like games that we would just like do, like whenever like we'd just be like bored and like just like.
What was that
not
like
doing
driving
anything.
game you would do where like you have to like name a color or something? They have to like figure out what you're looking at.
Oh, shoot, what's it
But
called?
yes,
Yes,
that's
yeah.
moral
Little
story.
things
Yes,
I
like,
spy.
is it I
yes,
Spy?
yeah, dude. Like we used to just like do random stuff to like just stay engaged with each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, we weren't like looking down at our phones and stuff.
And you
You gotta
mentioned
try
it
and
earlier.
beat your father in a fight. All right. You have to try to
Best
beat.
pastime.
Growing up, you have to try to beat your father in a fight.
16 years
Before you
old,
could even.
wake up
Once you
early.
beat me, son, then you could have a damn iPad.
I like that. My
that's
son
a
ain't
good
never getting an iPad. You never get an iPad.
I don't know if I'd even have one yet.
I don't care if you're 7 foot tall. I'm gonna fight dirty. I'll take your knees out.
Street fight.
I
Ding.
created those knees.
It's true.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's a good
That's a
episode.
good
Old school
one.
versus new school.
There's a lot of
I
good
liked it.
old school stuff that
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
always admire.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But the sheer advancements that we have definitely set us apart and give us a lot more availability to have
You
a
could
farther
grow
outreach.
faster because of the modern day advances in
Yeah.
business. You could grow. Grow.
You saw my
grow.
face. You knew.
I know. That's why I kept going with it. All right, guys. Anyway, when you're thinking, don't think short. Think
No.
big.
Yes.
Don't hire any rocks.
Don't do it.
Don't cap.
Be-
Don't front.
Don't cap on the front.
Don't be regional.
Don't be regional.
Only dock your boats.
Yeah. Don't be premium. Be
No.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Hit
This was
that
for the
button.
old school, and this was for the new school. I hope we could all come together and be friends.
Maybe shake hands.
Friendship.
Yeah.
Maybe shake hands.
Friendship.
Or Zoom.
Friendship.
Speaking of friendship, like that button, hit the bell, watch this video, take a look at that video.
Next episode, 1 year, baby.
1 year.
1 year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Spooky
man.
season.
Straight
1
banter.
year, 1 gear, baby.
Forward.
Flooring it. Foot down the gas. Ricky
let you-
Bobby.
Flooring it.
You know
If
who
you
else
ain't
has-
first or last,
I wake up in the morning and I piss excellence.
I'm the Mountain Dew.
I'm gonna come at you like a spider monkey.
If you haven't seen it, Talladega
I'm
Nights.
chocolate
It's a
drunk.
good
Oh,
one.
wait, is that a different movie?
That is.
Chocolate
Yeah.
Wasted? Is that
I'm chocolate
Grown-Ups?
wasted. That's
That's
grown-ups.
Grown-Ups.
That's grown-ups.
Another good
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
No, go.
All right.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Thank you.
Actually, one last thing I have to say.